Hi everyone, it's Melissa Secor, National Executive Director for Celiac Canada, and I am here in the heart of San Diego at one of the largest digestive diseases conferences in the world. I've had the great pleasure to kick off Celiac Awareness Month by meeting global patient leaders involved in celiac disease, and we all have the same goal: to find, treat, and cure celiac.
Hi, my name is Dan Solomon. I'm the head of the Israeli Celiac Association in Israel. We're here in San Diego along with global leaders with the celiac all around the world. I have the pleasure to meet Melissa from Canada. We spoke and we had such a great time, and we spoke about serious things coming along the way. And I would like to invite you all to our gluten-free vacation in Eilat. It's also kosher for the one who's Jewish. And have Melissa, contact Melissa for all the information. And we're looking forward to meet Melissa and to hear about Canada challenges and to learn from them. And thank you very much.
Hello everyone, this is Ines Pinto Sanchez. I'm gastroenterologist at McMaster University from the Celiac Clinic, and I'm here with Melissa with Celiac Canada at DDW. This is the largest gastroenterology conference in the world, and we are here and we have a lot is going on in celiac disease. And just to show you how many posters, how many research has been done, and many of them are from celiac disease. And just to let you know, the good things are coming, and we are working together with a lot of colleagues to advance the fields of celiac disease. So please support us and join us, and happy Celiac Disease Awareness Month.
I think that higher education, it results higher probability to be diagnosed. So here we cannot say if it's just the risk or if it's more the probability, because these are clinical diagnoses, and those kids whose parents are less educated, maybe they are not found in clinical practice, and that's why we cannot see the association here.
Right.
So I think that these results support the idea that we should actually screen for celiac disease so that we could find all the kids with the condition despite of their family's education level or healthcare seeking behavior.
And where these upshot is that our patients are always very worried about cross contact when they go out to eat, but no one's ever looked at what about cross contact in saliva and kissing. So we felt it was important. From our studies, we found patients were hesitant to kiss and worried. So we wanted to study and give them a good science-based background that it's totally safe. We found drinking 4 ounces of water reduced the amount of gluten in the saliva even further to under the safe limit considered in a gluten-free product.
Now go.
Okay, kissing is as safe as eating a slice of gluten-free bread.
I'm Rita Verma. I'm one of pediatric gastroenterologists at the University of Chicago, and I finally get to meet people who actually put the website together for Celiac Canada. What a wonderful website, what a nice resource for families and for clinicians, and getting to know what the research is, what are the goals for the future. So I'm so excited that I actually got to meet you here at DDW.
We looked at the patients with potential celiac disease and looked at how many of them get converted into overt celiac disease. So for potential celiac disease, to define it, I would say the patients who has like a family history of celiac disease, but they do not have the symptoms, or they might have the symptoms, but they went to the doctor, they found out, okay, they have a positive blood test for the serology, they have the positive blood test for the celiac disease, but when they went for the biopsy was normal, or it was near normal, which was not defining that they have the celiac disease. So eventually we found out that these people are at risk of developing overt celiac disease, and about 27% of the potential celiac disease gets converted into overt celiac disease. All of these patients that we looked at were on a gluten-containing diet, so they were eating gluten in their normal life, and they continued on eating the gluten even after having the positive serologies. But when they went for a repeat biopsies, only about 27% of them got converted to overt celiac disease. They had like positive biopsy changes. However, we found that in children the rate were higher, about 35%, while in adults it was about 20%. So this is the meta-analysis results that we got. we got like total of 8 studies, and all of these studies were cohort follow-up studies, prospective studies, which looked at the patients starting with potential celiac disease and saw like how many of them got converted.
Hi everyone, I'm John Damianos from Mayo Clinic. I'm very excited to share with you some of my research on small intestinal bacterial overgrowth in celiac disease. We studied all patients with a diagnosis of celiac disease confirmed by a gastroenterologist who underwent microbial overgrowth testing either with intestinal aspirate culture during an upper endoscopy or with a hydrogen methane breath test. We found 256 patients who underwent testing with intestinal aspirate and found that SIBO was positive in 17.6% of patients at the historical gold standard threshold of greater than 10 to the 5th colony forming units per milliliter. And at the more recently proposed less stringent threshold of greater than 10 to the 3rd, we found a much higher prevalence at almost 50%. When looking specifically at patients with refractory celiac disease, we found that patients had much higher rates of SIBO, specifically at the 10 to the 5th threshold, 36.8%, and at the 10 to the 3rd threshold, 78.9%. Almost 80% of patients with refractory celiac disease were testing positive for SIBO in this case. When looking at the association between SIBO and Marsh score, we found no correlation. Now, when looking at breath tests, a much smaller number of patients had undergone breath testing, but of those who did, we found that there was still a significant number of patients who were positive at 23.1%. Interestingly, the majority of those patients had positive breath tests reflecting intestinal methanogen overgrowth or overabundance of exhaled breath methane. So overall, we have found that irrespective of the testing modality, microbial overgrowth is common in patients with celiac disease, particularly in those who have refractory disease. This should be considered as one of the potential causes of ongoing symptoms in patients with celiac disease. Thanks for listening.